Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Yet another practice session for us. We're going to still be practicing the soft toss. The whole purpose of the soft toss is to basically try to get less rolls, less spin on the dice, I should say, for lesser rolls towards that back wall. And we want to hit underneath the alligator skin. It's very difficult to do. This is one of the reasons I've been practicing this now for quite some time. And I want to put it on my practice session videos so you guys can see what I'm trying to do. My camera angle is probably going to be the same as the last time, right? Closest to the wall. I got too much personal stuff laying around with my address on it and stuff. So I'm trying my best with this makeshift table that I have. It's 14 foot. I'm going to be tossing from 12 foot out. Stickman right? Because I'm a lefty. Okay, so stickman right. So, I'm going to do everything I can to show you in this practice session that by tossing softly and leaning a little when you release, okay, it's going to lessen the spin of the dice. And hopefully, when I pick my landing spot closest to the wall or like a little bit before the wall, because of the soft toss and the less spins, it'll like pretty much go a couple of rolls and it'll die flat right before. And as long as it's underneath the alligator skin, hopefully because of the way we set the dice, we could get favorable numbers. As you know, I use my stack grip, okay? That's my stack grip. I throw lefty, okay? Other people will probably throw with the Dom Larigio fingers on the pips. I always say Dom Larigio because he's world famous with his, world known as the Dice Dominator and the Breaking Vegas documentary. But this is one of the ways he taught people how to throw. I tried it, try holding it loose. It just kept falling out of my hand. So I went with a comfortable grip. And that's the whole thing, guys. Set the dice to your favorable dice setting. Okay, so your numbers could come out. And also do yourself a favor, get a comfortable grip. Find a grip that's comfortable for you to make you a better thrower. And also when you release, for my video anyway, I'm going to show the soft toss. But when you're releasing, I would suggest leaning a little on your toss, right? Lean a little on your toss before releasing, like almost like a sweep, right? It's almost like a sweep. I wish I could show it better, but it's almost like you're going to lean in and release, okay? Try my best to show it on video. I know it's not going to show, correctly, but try to lean it a little. At the casino, I try to get to 10 foot out to make it a 9.5 foot throw when I lean in, right? My body should be almost coming across the stickman in a way, right? You don't want to hit the stickman, but it almost comes across that way. At home, I do 12 foot. Okay, 12 foot because sometimes I get to a casino, I'm not always going to get that area, right? I'm not always going to be throwing from 10 foot out. I will not throw from 14 foot. Sorry. Even though I set my practice table at 14 foot, I would prefer 12 foot closest to the wall. I'm okay. And I know that most of the time I go to the casino, it's always at 12 foot. So I'm going to do everything I can to show this soft toss, okay? So bear with me. And again, another practice session. That's all it is. The number 7 will be marked as a red 7 on my whiteboard, and every other number a different color. That's all. Okay, so let's get this video going. Okay, so there it is. I wrote it down, the soft toss. Why? To avoid hitting the alligator skin wall, okay, to avoid hitting that alligator skin. Number 2, we want the underneath part of the wall, okay. And number 3, it's just to soft toss equals less spins of the dice, slows down the rolls towards the wall, right? And that's basically what a soft toss will do, right? Once you get it up in the air, if it comes down nice and soft, like obviously it's going to hit the felt. If it's a bouncy table, you want to get it like right before the wall for 2 rolls. It'll slow it, as long as there's less spins, less inertia, Pretty much it could be in your favor that you're going to get favorable numbers as long as you hit underneath the alligator skin. I said it from my previous video. You could do all the setting of the dice. You could do all the comfortable grips and your release. If you throw it too hard, you're going to hit that alligator skin. And what happens? It becomes random. So we're trying to prevent randomness. All right. We want favorable numbers. So let's try. It's not always going to be pretty, but let's try to get the soft tossing down. Okay. And hopefully it helps some of you guys out there to practice it also. Okay, guys, let's get ready to toss this dice, and hopefully we do very well. 6-3 is going to be my dice set. In fact, let me show it to you. In case you haven't seen it in my previous videos, okay? This is the way I set my dice, okay? And there we go. All right. That's the way I set my dice. 5-1. To give me the 6. On the inside, you got the 3-5 to give me the 8. On the top, I got my 6-3 going for the 9. Then I got my 2 and the 6 for the 8. Then I got the 1-4 on the bottom for the 5. And I rotate it one more time. There's the side's going to be a 4. On the other side, it's going to be a 2. Okay, basically, you know, if you're a guy who likes inside numbers like 6 and 8s, this might benefit you. For some reason, I guess 6s and 8s at home, but this is a hard felt, okay? It's a hard felt, all right? It's not as bouncy as the casinos, but when I'm at the casino, I get that little bounce, and I'm constantly, you know, doing well with the field numbers. It's one of the reasons why I hate to change a dice set that's working for me. So as long as it's working for me, it'll be the dice set I'm going to keep rolling with. I bet low to win big. I do pretty well. Again, I don't want to hit this. I want to go underneath right here. Okay, so if you saw any of my previous videos, it was all explainable. I don't want to waste too much time talking too much on it. Okay, your landing spots, obviously, around here. Some people, if they have a better craps table than me, or they have a box that wraps around with an alligator skin, right, that goes around, they'll probably practice corner shots. Maybe that helps, right, to go underneath the alligator skin. But again, we're going to try the soft tossing again, and hopefully we get good numbers like the last video. So let's see how we do. Okay, let's get going. And I'll be tossing from 12 foot out, stickman right. Okay, 12 foot out, stickman right. Okay. And that's what we want to do. All right. It was a gentle roll. It was a 5, but this one never made it to the wall. We're not going to count that yet. So, okay, just to show you that it was a 5 and not a 7. Remember, the 7s will be marked in red. Let me randomly shake this, right? And then I'll be setting the dice. So let's set this dice real quick. Here we go. That was way too soft. And sometimes that happens. Sometimes that'll happen. You start off your practice session and you're going to make some bad throws. Okay, that was a year 11, but we're not marking anything down, right? Usually a practice session, you want to get a feel of how far you can throw this dice softly and whatnot. And you're going to have some bad throws, and it's okay. Do not quit. I don't know how many times I got to tell people out there, don't quit on your practice. Keep practicing. It's not always going to be perfect. We're trying to soft toss it, so that's what's going to make this difficult. Right? It was a little hard, and what happened? We hit the alligator skin, right? You saw it hit the alligator skin, spun the dice, unfavorable, and guess what? The dreaded 7, you see? So we're off to a bad start. If this was a live casino, that 7 would have been a come out roll and you would have done well, right? You get paid for coming out with the 7. but we're not dealing with that. We're marking the 7 as a bad number here, right? It is a bad number. It's a number that comes out every 6 rolls according to the book, and the math behind it. It's the most number that comes out. So we ended up getting a 7 to start it off, and that's going to happen. That Don't let it discourage you. In fact, it could happen 6 times in a row. That doesn't mean you're not tossing the dice improperly. It just means that the number's coming out. Okay, it happens. Okay. All right, we're not going to count this. Even though a 3 came out, it did not get to the wall. So right off the bat, guys, we're seeing what I call one of those bad practice sessions to begin with, right? We're not going to count this. We have to hit that back wall. What we're trying to establish here is the soft toss. That's why I'm having a difficult time, because every time we practice, you're trying to perfect this soft toss. It's really hard. It's not easy to do. This is why sometimes you see dice controllers throwing this dice down the runway and it's coming in hard, To softly toss it, you're depending on the felt. This is a hard felt, right? It's underneath a picnic table. But at the casino, you're going to get a little bit of a bounce, and maybe that might help. All right, it's a 3. Okay. Wasn't a great throw. It's a 3. Again, this is practice. This is considered a craps number, but remember, only the 7's going to get marked in a bad way. So let me write down here the 3, and let's continue. Let's see if we could get some good rolls here. 12 foot out, stick man right. I'm a lefty. Okay. Came in a little hard. Yet again, we hit that back wall, but we got the 4-1, which is a 5. Okay, we just don't want to see the 7. So that's a 5. Throwing from 12 foot out. Okay, came in hard, but I believe we got one of them underneath the alligator skin, and it gave us a favorable number. It gave me a feel number, which is what I love to see at the casino. Okay, so that's an easy 10. That's what we call it, an easy 10. It's not always going to be pretty, guys. It really isn't. It's not always going to be pretty. Oh, the dreaded 7. The dreaded 7. And that toss was okay. Yet we still got the 7, right? So we got to mark that down. And what did I say? I said, you will get that 7. It's the number that comes out the most every 6 rolls. So again, we're showing that 7 will come out. Let's see if we could go on a long roll. Let's see if we could go on a long roll. That was a 9. So that's a good start, right? That's why it's called practice, because you begin to adjust your throws. It takes a while to get into rhythm. And hopefully this is the beginning of something good here. Okay? Let's continue. Setting the dice, 6-3 on top. Okay. That's an easy 8. That's an easy 8. Flipping them over so you guys can see the numbers that are coming out. Hopefully I'm doing a better job on this one. So you got the 8. Let's keep rolling. Hopefully this is the beginning. "12 foot out. Stick man right. I'm a lefty. You couldn't have not thrown that dice any better. And look what came out. It was underneath the alligator skin. Both hit the wall. Look at what came out, guys. A hard 10. Hard 10 pays 8 for 1. That's what we're looking for, guys. A toss like that. Okay. Remember, we're not playing a game. We're not strategically betting. This is just practice sessions. It's for muscle memory. Always remember, it's for muscle memory. Too soft. Even though it was a 9, it was too soft. I'm not going to count that. Okay. Just so that I don't. There you go. It's a 9, but we're not going to count that. Okay. The whole purpose of this is to practice. Some practice sessions come off great. Some of them come off like, wow, it was poor. Here we go. Okay, even though one hit the alligator skin, we still ended up with a favorable number. And that's a 5. Okay. There we go. Let me write that down. Okay. So just to let you guys know that when you're at a casino, all right, always remember when the game is on, try to be respectful. Don't try to get at the table and, don't be disrespectful. Wait till, the guy tosses and then they're collecting chips and paying people, and then you could get in on the game. Preferably, I would love to see you guys do that when this button says off. That means the game is over. They're clearing the table. They're paying, collecting, whatnot. And that's when you could start placing your bets, okay? Just thought that would be a reminder, because at casinos, the games could get chaotic, okay? Let me blow my nose a sec. Again, like my previous videos, I have allergies, and they are annoying. All right, let's continue. All right. If I'm doing anything wrong, guys, just or if you see that this is like, hold on 1 second. Wow, hard 10. Yeah, another good throw. You can see the separation of the dice. They both hit underneath, and it was a favorable number. There you go, hard 10. Okay. But, again, if I'm doing anything wrong, please put it down on the comments or anything you guys find wrong. I learned from this, all right? I'm still an amateur, 5 years of practice, 3 years of going to casinos. I'm sure you guys heard all of that on my previous videos. Sometimes I tell the stories of what I see, how I've done. Sometimes I get them wrong, I try my best to sometimes when you're talking ahead of yourself, you forget, you know what I mean? And let's continue. All right, I like that throw too. They both hit underneath the alligator skin. This is very difficult, guys. Soft tossing it is hard. It is hard. Okay? It is hard. This doesn't guarantee that what you do at home, you're going to do at the casino, right? I always emphasize that. It's not going to always translate to the casino, right? Like a bad session, and then you do good at a casino. Then you have a good session, and you do bad at the casino. Always remember, guys, it's not always going to translate, but you want out of this, if anything, muscle memory, right? Muscle memory. Not going to count that. That never got to the wall. But I'm going to say something that I said on my previous video. Sometimes the boxmen will overlook that. I've noticed that a lot of women that play craps, and there are some great shooters. A lot of women that play craps, sometimes when they're throwing, one will hit the wall like this one, and then the other one will not, and the boxman won't even mess with them. I'm not saying that's just for women, because I've seen them do it for men. And that came out to, I believe it was a 5, but I'm not counting it because it didn't reach the wall. Okay, let's set the dice again. All right, I always want to reach the wall. Remember, your practice sessions are there for you to simulate what you're going to do at the casino, but mostly for memory, muscle memory. Oh, that one went right up the alligator skin because it was a soft toss. It kind of just went up, and we ended up getting a hard 12. Not every throw's going to be perfect, guys. That's why we practice, okay? Hard 12 pace, 30 for 1. Okay, so that was a hard 12. Hard 12. All right, let's continue. Okay, so these are just practice sessions that I put on the YouTube channel for you guys to see how I practice. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to practice this way. Okay. All right, that one was a hard 10. Okay, this one was slightly off the wall a bit, but that optical illusion you give to that stick, to the boxmen and the people at the table, and sometimes they let it go, and it's a hard 10. But being that it's going to pay 8 for 1, I'm not so sure if they're willing to let it go, but it was close enough where it was an optical illusion for the box man. So always keep that in mind. All right, you want muscle memory. Now always emphasize on that. Practice sessions are rough, guys. They're not easy. Oh, the dreaded 7. The dreaded 7. There we go. Dreaded 7, guys. All right, so we'll mark that as a 7. Okay, in red. So the dreaded 7 is going to come out, guys. Doesn't mean you get discouraged. Doesn't mean that you flip the tables at home. Doesn't mean that you quit. Doesn't mean any of that. Athletes go through that too in practice, right? So take the athlete mentality. You want to keep practicing harder and harder. Coach yourself to the point where you want the muscle memory to be your advantage. That's a 5. Okay. Many of you are watching this video, and anybody that knows me out there, if you're watching, hello. How you guys doing out there? Hope you guys are enjoying my craps video. And most of you will probably be surprised that I'm into craps, especially guys I used to work with. Now that I'm retired, probably never knew that. And they're probably saying to themselves, wow, if I had known that, I'd be going to casino with this guy. I love this game. Well, you guys know we used to work together. You guys know where I live. So you're all welcome. Okay, that was a 4 and a 1 to give me a 5. But it came in too hard, right? Even though we're trying our best to soft toss it, came in too hard, rolled around the alligator skin. But thank God that we set the dice the way we wanted. And we ended up getting yet another 5, right? Another 5, back-to-back 5s. But this is why we practice. This is why we practice. Okay? Let's just keep rolling. And always remember, you're never going to get the dice this quickly back. It's always like a minute and a half or 3 minutes. It all depends how crowded or less crowded the table is that you get the dice back, okay? Within tosses, okay? Because I'm sure, a hard 8, nice. I'm sure there's people out there that when they go on a nice long roll, they get anxious to get that dice back, And sometimes the game stops and people are getting paid, collecting, asking questions. People that never played a game before, they're new, they're at your table, and you're getting frustrated because you're on a roll and the dice hasn't come back to you. And you're getting upset because, a couple of people are just late to the table and asking, no question is stupid in craps, so be free to ask questions. But When you're on a good roll, people get anxious. If you're on the outside looking in and you want in on the game and you see a guy rolling real well, it would be wise to be respectful and give the guy some space, right? You don't want to mess with his mojo, but it does happen. All right. So normally I would practice with loud music to give myself a casino feel. I would have my big screen TV with a YouTube channel on it. I have a smart TV with a YouTube channel on it with live craps play at Vegas, right? Just to give it a casino feel. But since I'm talking, I won't do that. That's an easy 8. All right, just remember, this is all practice. This is very difficult to do. I think the greatest dice controllers out there would be like, wow, that's rough, right? I mean, they could struggle with this, all right? Nobody, and that includes dice controllers, have that perfect of a shot, all right? But if you practice long enough, you're going to get favorable numbers. Okay, that's a 5. Okay, you could clearly see the 3. And the way it was angled, the box man will accept that. As long as it hit the wall, we got it underneath the alligator skin and we ended up with a 5. Okay, now I'm going to feel better, so I'm a little disappointed that some of my numbers aren't coming out, but this always happens for some reason at home. But it's like I said, I have a hard felt. Okay, I have a hard felt. You know what's crazy is I'm throwing 5s and 8s. Haven't seen a 6 yet. Hopefully I get the 6 right now. That would be cool. Right? A 5. Wow. See? Sometimes it happens. You're practicing and the craziness of 5s coming out. Then you go to a casino and your field numbers are coming out. I just think it's because of the felt that I'm using. I have a picnic table that's about 10 foot, and I put a felt on it. Then where my box is at, I have the other tooth to make it a 12 foot, and then I extend it behind the table to make a 14 foot. So, but I'm tossing from 12 foot out. Okay, that's the way I practice. Oh, one of them bounced all around the alligator skin, but because of the way I set, I ended up getting an 8. Okay, so the inside of my dice set gave me an 8. Okay, so I'm noticing a lot of 8s and 5s on this practice session, and that's pretty cool, guys. I mean, it's going to happen. All right. Sometimes your practice sessions just go a whole different direction. Okay, but that doesn't mean you're going to do bad or no, don't quit. Just because you're looking for certain numbers, don't quit. Okay, that was an easy 10. All right, a field number. That's what I was looking for. So I get a 10 finally. Easy 10. Okay, there we go. Easy 10. Remember, even the greatest dice controllers out there, this is a difficult thing to do. Soft tossing it is difficult, man. It is not easy. Sometimes the dice will hit here, won't even get to the wall. One will hit here, another one will go there. It happens, guys. Because I'm practicing the soft toss, I'm just trying to get it to the point where it's muscle memory, that I could go to the casino and do well with it. And the casinos have a bouncier table, so sometimes it does well for me. I was a lot of spin on it, and I got a 3. Sometimes when you come in too hard, it'll spin like that. Okay. So I got a 3 out of it. All right. What was I going to say? Sometimes I forget my train of thought at times because I'm rambling on and, I'm tossing at the same time. But yeah, it's very difficult. to really try to perfect this. It's very difficult. It's not easy. This is why we practice. Okay, that's a 5. Yet another 5. Um, it's difficult, right? And then you get like a random thrower saying, I just randomly throw it down. And, maybe his betting strategies are awesome. And maybe that's the way he's played his entire life, randomly throwing. That's okay. I don't have a problem with that. The problem I have is that they're very critical of dice controllers. And what they don't understand is when you're at the table, right, we're all here to make money. We have to depend on each other to beat the casino. Casinos are not in the business of making money, making you money. They're in the business of making themselves money. They don't care about your lifestyle or whatever. They want your money. And we're supposed to support each other. That's a 3. Okay? We're supposed to support each other. I'm here to make money for you, just like you're there to make money for me. Because if I'm not tossing, I want to make sure that when I do my 5 count on another shooter, right? That's what I was taught. That when I place my chip down, you're gonna make money for me. This is one of the reasons why when I go to a casino, right, I start off with the pass line. If I do well and get to my point, this is the puck, it'll go on. And then I take a $10 chip. This is a $100 chip, but let's make believe that's a $10 chip and I place it there. Okay? And I'm not going to be iron crossing and all of a sudden putting money all over the table like a comeback. $25 here for the 6 and 8, right? $1 back, and your 6 is a $12 bet at 8. So I'm not going to do any of that. It's only going to be my field bets. All right, and it makes me play longer too. I enjoy it. Sometimes I'll go to my favorite bar at the casino with my wife. We'll sit, we'll talk. We'll have a couple of drinks. It'll loosen me up. I like my bourbon or whiskey, like Maker's Mark, and maybe have a couple of beer chases with it. It's just to loosen me up and alleviate my back pain a little bit. I do take a leave, and then try to alleviate the back pain with it. You don't want to drink too much. That's an easy 10, but it did hit the alligator skin and it bounced all over the place, but it was an easy 10. You don't want to drink too much, okay? Actually, what was that? Was that an easy 10 or, oh no. I think it was a Yo 11. I might have to check later, but guys, it wasn't a 7. But if you think I made a mistake, I think it was a 10, but I might have messed up the way I was picking up the dice and rotating it. I think it came out to Yo 11. I'm sorry about that, guys. But no matter what, we didn't get to 7. That was the most important thing. But yeah, you don't want to drink too much, although what just happened might look like I was drinking. But you don't want to drink too much because then your muscle memory is gone and everything you worked so hard for, practicing and everything, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to be off target. You're going to get fatigued quicker, and you don't want to do that. You just want to be loosened enough to you just want to have fun. That didn't hit the wall, even though it was an easy 6, it didn't hit the wall. So we're not going to count it. I'm just trying to be fair because it is practice. If it had been a 7, I would have counted it. I definitely would have counted it because at the casino, they don't care. They see you that you're setting the dice and everything. They know that you came here with an advantage. And so they're going to do everything to discourage that, okay? So always keep that in mind. And don't argue with the box man either. Oh, it didn't hit the wall. Why are you going to count my 7? The other one didn't hit the wall. Don't do that. You're going to come off like an ass. Like right there, I didn't hit the wall, but a 3 came out. Not going to count it either. Remember, at the casino, they'll give you 3 chances. If it bounces off the table, they give you another chance. If it bounces off the table again, they give you another chance. If it does it a third time, they're going to the next shooter. Same with this. If it's not hitting the wall, he's going to warn you. Second time, he's going to be like, guy, can you get it to the wall? Third time, listen, I'm going to the other shooter. I'm sorry. That's how they are. And that is a rule. Okay? It's not a written rule, but it's a rule that they put in for the stick man and the box man, right? They don't want to be handing out money. And yet again, one hits the wall, the other one doesn't, but it was a hard 6, but we're not going to count that. So let's try it again. We're going to switch the dice too, and that's going to happen at the casino. We're going to go with green dice. All right, that'll happen. Sometimes they'll bring the tray out and say, listen, you want to try a new pair of dice? Maybe that might help you. And, you just do what you got to do. We're going to go with the green dice. All of this dice that I get is from Vegas. I go online. In fact, let me show you the serial numbers on it. See that serial number, 849? These dice, they come from Vegas. Okay? All right. Let's continue. All right. All right. Again, we didn't hit the wall, even though it was a 5. We didn't hit the wall. So this is why we have to practice. If you notice, I'm having some bad throws right now because I'm doing everything I can to soft toss it to the point where I want it to become muscle memory. And what did I say at the beginning of the video? Some throws may not even make the wall. But at the casino, because of the table being a little bit bouncy, it might make the wall. Like that last throw should have reached the wall at a casino. In my house, it won't because I have a hard felt. Ay, ay, ay. We're going to do this again. Again, I'm soft tossing it. It did come out as a favorable number, your 11, but I'm not going to count it. You got to remember, guys, this is practice purposes only. So yes, not every throw. I know there's guys right now watching the video and going, this guy's a joke. I don't know how I could take this guy seriously, but guys, trust me, you're not going to always hit the wall. This is the purpose of practicing. That one hit the wall and it was a hard 8. You don't want to hit the alligator skin. Okay? But it was a hard 8 and we're going to count this one. I believe one hit the alligator skin and the other one just rolled around underneath it, but it's a hard 8. Okay? Guys, I know as somebody who wants to do well in front of you, I understand you guys want to see results. I get it. There's nothing wrong with that. But we can't not always be perfect, right? We can't always be perfect. There will be times where we kind of, and it happens, the practice session will be really bad, okay? A little bit of history on my casino ventures. I played mostly slots throughout the 2000s. I've been going to casinos since 1995. Fell in love, and I've been doing this on the weekends with my wife while I was at work. Leisure time or just taking my wife out on the weekends. It really helped our marriage. Thank God. I mean, I don't recommend gambling to save marriages, but it helped us because it was our date nights and we were struggling in the beginning of our marriage and we were having trouble communicating, and this was really something that saved us in a way. Okay, that didn't reach the wall. Okay, so we're not going to count that. All right. You know what? I'm going to count it. I am going to count it because it was a 7. I told you I might count the 7s even though it doesn't reach the wall. So I am going to count it. It's discouraging because we were doing well on that roll. So I'm going to count it. All right. But anyway, getting back to my life as a gambler. I'm not a professional gambler. Started my career just playing slots. Eventually, in the early 2000s, I got into card counting after watching the documentary on Breaking Vegas. I thought I would do that. Did very well for 2 years as a card counter, but it was too much of a grind to sit at a table for 2.5 hours. I wasn't making much money. I think there was one session where I went a whole 3 hours to make a $50 profit, something like that. Or was it a $10 profit? You know, there were a couple of times that I was upset that I sat at a table that long, but too hard. But it was nine. Um, but over the years, when I was playing card counting, right, blackjack tables and baccarat, everything changed. The industry changed. They started to watch for card counters. Number one, this was at Atlantic City and any other Northeast casino that I frequented, and they started using 12 decks instead of the four when I first started. I think it was six. And then they went from that to electronic shuffling, changing the dealers during a session. It got to the point where they were just discouraging card counters. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to deal with this. I got to find another table game. I tried Baccarat, same thing. It's a grind. Banker player, banker player, banker player, side bets, banker player. It was stupid. And then I went back to slot machines and hanging out at casinos. And then, oh man, the dreaded seven again. And that was a good toss. See, even a good toss will give you the dreaded seven. And then, but this is practice, right? This is practice. And then when COVID happened, I got discouraged. Almost. I mean, we were doing good with slot machines. I mean, we really. I mean, I hit a lot of jackpots over the years, but we started to, you know, for me anyway, when COVID hit, I thought that was going to be the end of us with as far as going to hanging out at casinos and stuff, and it was a long wait, almost a year and a half. And casinos shut down. I was home a lot, so I decided to pick up craps, learn the game of craps. I always wanted to learn this game, and I started playing it. It was a five. Started playing it and studying it, playing it, and the next thing you know, I really liked it. And for that whole year, I was practicing, studying it, and that helped me during COVID. At the time during COVID, I think you heard the story on my previous videos. I had a staph infection. I had injured my thumb, and the injury caused a staph infection. And I had to go and get operated on, ruined my right hand, ruined my thumb on my right hand. And that's why I became a lefty. Okay, that's a three. Came in too hard, went up the alligator skin. That's why we have to practice. I'm trying to get a soft toss, but sometimes this is very difficult. And yeah, so I ruined my thumb. I'm a righty, a natural righty. And then when I had to start using my left hand, I realized that my, my eye coordination, I don't know, for some reason, or maybe it was because it was new to me throwing left-handed. I kind of I liked it. I never went back to my right hand because one, my nerve endings on my thumb were shot. So I couldn't feel the dice. In fact, when the wintertime comes, it's a terrible feeling. So I stayed lefty. Stickman right, 12 foot out, lefty. Well, that had a lot of spin, but a five came out. A lot of fives today. It's crazy. And that's what happened, man. I mean, that's my story as far as how I started my craps career. Then a year and a half later, after COVID, was when I started going back to the casinos because if you remember, guys, they had plexiglasses on everything, slot machines, table games, and I couldn't get throws like this from a plexiglass. You had to, you know, it was so difficult. But I would go just to watch people play, and they were random throwers. I lost interest in watching them play, but I would play at home. I would practice. Too much spin, and the dreaded seven came out. I don't know if fatigue is setting in on my arm or what. Some of my throws have been really bad of late, and I'm getting sevens. But yeah, just have to keep practicing. But that is my story. I tell it a lot. Anybody who's watched my channel knows that story. If you see me at the casino, just acknowledge it. Like, just come up to me and say, "Hey, I heard that story about how you started learning how to play craps. It's pretty cool." Yeah, man, that staph infection was no joke. It almost cost me my life. I remember I had to go into emergency surgery, and I never knew that just having that thumb injury would cause that. And it was scary, man. People were praying. My wife was scared. My family was scared. I was scared. And man, those near death experiences can really change you. Did it make me a better person? I don't know. But it kind of made me realize how short life is. And that's why you got to have fun in life, guys. That one hit the alligator skin. That one hit the alligator skin. This one didn't. But a hard 12 came out of it. That's a 30 for one shot. And if you had that one roll bet on it, you win yourself some good money. Okay, that's a hard 12. But yeah, man. So those are life experiences. I'm sure there's people out there that have similar stories. It's scary, man. And I'm out here to have fun and entertain myself. I was a 9. Okay, that's a 9. Okay, I'm trying to soft toss it. It's becoming even more difficult as the practice session continues. It could be fatigue setting in, even though you really haven't been practicing no more than less than an hour. Fatigue could set in because you get in your home, you get the dice back quicker. Okay, but at the casino, you don't. And maybe that's why fatigue could set in so quickly. But that's a 3. But yeah. So I know you guys have stories that you want to share, and I'm open to that. You can tell me your casino stories, and I'm happy with that. I don't have a problem with that. I'm all ears. I'm a good listener. I love to engage too with my subscribers. I need more subscribers because I want to get popular. So this way, when I present my content to a manager or to the casino, he might say, "Hey, you know what? You're kind of popular. Yeah. Record at our casino. You know, then maybe I could put some content up there with my craps playing." I really love that throw. Yeah, that was an easy 10. Okay, that was a 10. Okay, and we have yet to throw a 6. Guys, this is crazy. We have yet to throw a 6 during this session. You guys could review your video, but I'm gonna show you the whiteboard chart anyway, and you could see it yourself. That's crazy. Whoa. Dreaded 7. Too hard, hit the alligator skin, and there's your dreaded 7. Okay. Let me write down a 7, and then I'm going to show you what can happen too. I wish I had done it before. Maybe it would have hit a landmine and maybe that 7 doesn't come out. Okay, that was a 7. Let me put this here. Start throwing chips all over the place. Let me do the red chips. All right, let me do the red chips. All right. Okay. All right. Let's start throwing some landmines out here. Okay. All right. That's what they call them, landmines. Okay. All right. This way, if it hits one of them, at least you guys can see what's going on. All right. So let's throw these landmines out here. Okay. All right. Maybe this will help. Who knows? All right. Couple of landmines. Let me throw a couple in here. All right. These are $100 chips. The greens are 25s. The reds are 10s. And then the whites are $1. But I'm just throwing landmines out here, so you know, because your dice will hit some landmines out there. Okay, your dice will hit some landmines. Okay, switching the dice too. All right, do everything you can to to practice. And that was a hard 10. Kind of went off to the corner over here, but I'm gonna slide it out because I'm not gonna bullshit you. If you can see that, that was a 5, and that was a 5, hard 10. It was too hard of a throw. I hated that toss. Came out to a hard 10. Okay, so we're gonna write that down, hard 10. 8 for 1. If you had that one roll bet. Okay. We have yet to toss a 6, people. We have yet to toss a 6. This is crazy. We have yet to toss a 6. And there's an easy 8. A lot of 8s and 5s today. A lot of 8s and 5s. Okay. A lot of 8s and 5s. Wow. We've tossed already 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What's that? 7. 7 sevens so far. I don't know how many tosses we have, but I will tally it up afterwards. I can't believe we haven't gotten a 6. This is crazy. Gotten 8s. Oh my gosh. Just when I mentioned it, we got a hard 6. Awesome. 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 Hard 6. Nice. The first hard 6, the first 6 everything today. Nice. Could have not come at a better time. I'm sure the guy at the table who's betting 6s and 8s is jumping up and down. Okay. That was a 9. Came in too hard. Remember, we're practicing the soft toss. Okay. I know sometimes we get away from that. We get so caught up in trying to toss this dice that we might get away from it. And I think I did for a moment. We're practicing soft tossing. Got to keep that in my head. Got a drink of water real quick from my water bottle. I hope you guys are enjoying this. I love to show my practice sessions because I practice almost every day. Might as well put it on YouTube so you guys can see how I do, and whether it's bad, good, it's okay. It's a practice session. Right now I'm trying to get the muscle memory down for soft tossing. This is difficult. It's not easy. Okay. Hard 6, bro. Seriously? Now the 6s are coming out? Crazy, right? Crazy. I mean, it wasn't a great throw, but still, right? We were talking about how the 6s haven't come out all day, and this is the second one. So, awesome. Hard 6, awesome. But guys, yeah, I like putting this content because if I'm gonna practice, might as well show you guys what I'm doing. I might as well. I mean, let's be real. All right, let's be real. I want to show your audience how you practice. Maybe it might help somebody. Maybe there's somebody out there who throws with the 3 finger grip on the pips and wants to change his style to the stack. Okay, that was a 6, bro. Now the 6s are coming out. What? What? Gotta show you something. Now that I mentioned there's the people out there throwing with the 3V and you know. All right, let me just stack it up. All right, check this out. I know you guys are throwing this way, right? Holding it by the pips. So if you want to change your style, all right, maybe you're watching this channel right now and saying, how come it's working for that guy? Maybe I should change it. Maybe I should go with the dice that he has, right? 6-3 on top. And maybe start doing the stack grip, you know? I've seen people do the chopper. That's what they call it, the chopper or helicopter. Works for them. I've seen people stack it like this and they throw it like that. That's awesome. It works. I saw a lady, she did the Dom Laurigio 3 finger, but when she threw, she would rotate her hand. It was almost like an underhand, and it was working great. So I figure I throw that in there because I know there's people out there probably saying, man, I'm going to start practicing that soft toss. I'm going to practice the way he's talking, stacked and from 12 foot out. You know, at the casino, you want to be 10 foot out. And that's another thing, guys, because I'm throwing 12 foot out and it's a hard felt. It's not reaching a wall. But if I was at 10 foot, I'm pretty sure my throws would be more accurate. Okay. But we have to practice from 12 foot because you're not always going to get that 10-foot shot at the casino. And lean into your throw. Lean into your throw to make it shorter. 12 foot becomes 11 and a half or 11, depending on your arm length. 10 foot could become 9.5 to 9 foot. All right. Lean and slowly toss. Wow, dreaded 7. Dreaded 7. Okay. Dreaded 7. It's going to happen, guys. But you know what was the best part is that you're practicing your soft toss. As long as it's soft toss and you're getting that muscle memory, that's all that counts. That's all that counts. And then everything else will take care of itself. Hopefully, not too many 7s at the casino. Okay? Okay. Now, if you play privately, I heard of guys illegally have craps tables in their house and they invite people over to bet, play. That's a risk because that's illegal. You could really get in trouble with that. So don't do it. Okay, because that is a big hefty fine. Okay, and you will do time in jail. All right, so don't do it. Ooh, just got it over the landmine, and it was a 3. Just got it over the landmine, and it's a 3. Okay. All right. Let's keep rolling. Right? Let's keep rolling. Try to speed it up a little bit, less talking, but I love to talk. At the casino, I'm pretty much quiet. I don't like to bring attention to myself. Snake eyes. It's a 2. Okay. I try not to bring too much attention to myself. This is a 30 for 1 shot. That's a 2. Let me just put that in. Yeah, I don't want to get banned. I'm not there to be a millionaire overnight. I know there's guys that think that once they become this nice controller, they're going to pull a Dom Laurigio. All right. The only reason I'm mentioning his name, like Frank Scabletti, Stephen Wong, guys like that, is because they're world famous. Okay. These are guys that have been around the block. These are the old school guys. They're the advantage players that they know what they're talking about. And that's the only reason I throw their names around. These are the guys I learned from, videos, channels, books. And it's not a bad group to learn from. Stephen Wong was, I believe, a good craps player himself, as well as a card player, I believe. I think this guy, these are who I call professional gamblers because they became advantage players pretty much at everything that was at a casino. Okay. So, yeah, it's always good to go to a library, pick up books, winning strategies on blackjack, baccarat, table games, craps. I think if not to be discouraging to car counters or wannabes, um, don't waste your time with car counting because you will get banned. Don't think that you're going to go all the time in different disguises. That's just ridiculous. All right, don't do it. So to me, it's a waste of time. Ah, man, that throw I loved. Finally get the perfect toss and it becomes the dreaded 7. See how discouraging that could be? But don't let it ruin you. Keep practicing. All right. But like I said, you know, I was a car counter, maybe not as great as other car counters, but I was good enough to get at the table and not lose my money. But it was too much of a grind, too many shuffling decks. You sit there for 3 hours for what? $10 game, $50, because you're gonna go up losing, winning, losing, winning, losing, winning. And then when you up your bet, they look at you funny. Like, is this guy a car counter? Because he was playing low, all of a sudden he throws down $100. He was playing at $5, then he throws down $100. And once you start doing that, they look at you, they come over nicely, they switch dealers, they do the electronic shuffling stuff. And some of the electronic shuffling machines these days, I question them. There's videos out there where they show you what they really can do with those electronic machines. So, again, I'm not trying to be discouraging to the car counter, but I'm just letting you know that it's not even worth it no more. That was an easy 10. It's not even worth it no more. You know what I mean? Like back in the 70s, back when it became popular, like the early 70s, 80s, 90s, yeah, you could get away with that shit, but not now. Not now. Casinos watch everything. And back then was a risk. You could get roughed up in a back room for it. Okay? So you don't want to do that. That's a 6. Easy 6. Okay. Easy 6. So, and then I went to another game in the 2000s to play Baccarat as well. Being that I already was a car counter. Poker playing is different. I think guys that play poker, they're safe with that game. But when it comes to like Baccarat, oh my god, that was another. It's listen. I don't know how people can make money on that game because the side bet is what's going to increase your betting to make money. But it's a 50-50 game. Banker player, banker player. Oh my god, a dreaded 7. All right, we're throwing bad right now. Dreaded 7. But yeah, so let's see if we could go on a decent roll in the next one, man. Because so yeah, remember we're soft tossing, muscle memory. So yeah, so when I was playing Baccarat, if you're a car counter, Does it help? Maybe back then, not now. Not now. Oh, another seven. Back to back sevens. If you crapped out and threw a seven again, it's called a win because it's a come out roll. But we're not counting the sevens. It's a red seven. Okay. So it's a bad number. Today, we're using it as a bad number. Okay. All right. We got to get on the right side of this. We got to do better than this. We started off good and then just lately things are getting bad. So let's see. Okay, that's an easy eight. All right, let's try to. Hopefully, this could be the last session of rolls, right? So that's an eight. Let's see if we could go on a nice long one. All right, let's see. Throw a lot of sevens today, but it is practice. Don't get discouraged. I said that from the very beginning. This is all about practicing. Okay, that's what you want to do. You want to get your muscle memory, your timing, your landing zone. You're concentrating on hitting underneath the alligator skin. That was a four. Okay, it's not the best craps table. It's a makeshift craps table that anyone could do. All right, you could even put a cardboard box at the end of it if you want, and use egg crates. Those cardboard egg crates for your alligator skin if you want. I mean, if not everyone's going to be the greatest thrower in the world, right, guys? Even the greatest ones struggle. Seen some great dice controllers crap out immediately. I remember Dice King, or King Dice, that's his name. He was playing Color Up, had a bad session, and then he did a video with Color Up where he had a betting strategy where he was going to put all this money on the table because as a dice controller, when you go on a long roll, you're going to make thousands and thousands of dollars. And unfortunately, that did not go well for him either. But at least he posted it up. He was honest. He is an instructor, I believe. Believe he works out in Vegas, and he teaches those how to throw. And listen, he just had a bad day. That's all it was. But I guarantee you, he wins more than he loses. And yet another dreaded seven. Wow. Okay, so this is getting bad. Sevens are coming out. But that was a terrible toss anyway. Remember, I'm trying to get to the point where this muscle memory of soft tossing. As far as soft tossing, I think it's there, not all the way there. I mean, there are some bad throws. We're not reaching the wall on some of them, but we're doing everything we can to practice to get us when we go to the casino that bouncier table will be in our favor. That was an eight. Okay, an eight. We're going to do everything we can to do well today, okay, guys? We're going to do everything we can. That's what we want to do. We want to do well. I want to do well for you guys on camera because this way it could motivate someone out there. It might change someone's way of throwing, right? Sometimes that happens. It's a six, easy six. Okay, sometimes that happens, right? You might get someone who's looking for an edge, become an advantage player, watches the video and goes, hey, I'm going to try this. I'm going to try his technique. I hit the alligator skin and we got the dreaded seven. So the sevens are coming out. So my throws have been very poor of late and we're getting a lot of sevens. All right. I got to do better than this. And this is why I don't quit. This is why I continue to record because continue the practice session as well because I gotta I got to really get this down. I really want to become a better thrower of the dice. And my whole purpose of this video is to show the soft toss. That was a throw I liked underneath the alligator skin. That was a throw I like. It was a 3. I like that throw. I really do. That was a great throw. And I also do sports betting, guys. In particular, NFL, UFL. Love football. I do very well with that. I have videos on that. Okay. And hope this season, the 2025 season, we could win a lot of money. I bet small to win big. I parlay. I do single units, player props, touchdown makers list. I have a video that I put out just recently on that. So if you guys want to check it out, it's just a chart showing you how easy it is to break down a matchup between two teams. So if you guys want to check it out, hit that like and subscribe button, and you'll get that content. That's a 6, easy 6. So yeah, so you guys can check it out. Sure, you guys will like it, especially if you're a betting fan of sports. My strategies, to be honest, I'm usually above 500 in the money lines, over and unders against the spread. I did well in the playoffs last year, except the Super Bowl with my betting. Let me see what else. My strategies when I bet, I break it down. I do all the homework, okay, and I put out videos for you guys to look at, and then you guys mix and match or whatever. You could agree or disagree on some of my betting strategies, but I put it out there for you guys. I give you the edge for free, so check that out if you like. That's a 5, and that was another reason why I chose to get away from blackjack as well as baccarat. Other than craps playing at the casino, I decided to get into sports betting once it got legalized in Jersey, and I win. I win. If I had to put a percentage on it, and there's no exaggeration, you could look it up. And I did well in the league that was unpredictable, the UFL, and I was over 55% of my wins. I was above 500 in every category, money line, over and unders, as well as against the spread. And in the playoffs last year, I was doing well with that. So hopefully this is the breakout year in the NFL for me. Now that I'm retired and I have all that time, and I've been breaking down the rosters of recent, hopefully we're going to do very well. I'm so excited with the upcoming season. Yeah, that was a 9. I'm so excited because the NFL has always been the game I love the most. I've played high school, pee-wee, high school, you name it, sandlot, junior college football. That's my sport. And I love the NFL because I know that they have the set roster, coaches, the whole 9, not like the UFL where it was unpredictable, coaching changes, roster changes, bringing in different players in the game. And the NFL plays out differently. And I know I'm going to do very well. I'm so excited for this upcoming season. And I hope I can do well for everybody out there. I think my betting strategies, the way I'm going to put it together, is going to make people a lot of money out there. And I hope they appreciate it. And I'm doing it for free. They don't even have to pay me for it. I'm doing that for free to give them the edge. Let's go get those casinos, right? Let's take their money. They do it to us. That was an easy 8. A lot of spinning there. Didn't like that throw. I got to remember that I'm trying to soft toss it, you know? This isn't a game. This is soft tossing the dice. It's a practice session. But yeah, man, so yeah, that's what I do also. I'm not a professional gambler. That's why I named myself Casino Pete, because when I'm at the casinos, I'm trying to play everything that could be a beneficial to me financially. Like, I want to enjoy the casinos and I want to be able to do different things other than slot machines. And sports betting gave me an out, craps gave me an out, and I've been running since with it. Hard six. So I'm hoping that you guys tune into those channels when it comes to NFL betting and stuff like that. So this year, I hope it's lit. That was a hard six. I hope you guys tune in for this season because we're going to make some money. I kid you not. It's a five. We're going to make some money. Okay, it's a five. But let's get back to craps. Whole purpose of this practice session, the soft toss. Learn the soft toss. Believe me, there's a lot of science behind it. There's people that have videos on how to get that dice underneath that alligator skin. Okay, I'm just one of those guys trying to show you a softer way to do it. That hit the alligator skin, but it was an easy 8. One of them hit below it. If you could get one below it, that's cool. This is very hard to do. This is not easy, guys. This is not easy. Okay? It is difficult to get these shots. That's why we practice. But yeah, so that's the whole purpose of all of this, right? Oh wow, that like it rolled, but it was too much spinning on the rolls, and then that one went right up the wall. But it gave me snake eyes. I hope you guys can understand my speech, man, because it sounds like it's slurred all the time. I know I'm old. I've always had that problem growing up too. Kids used to make fun of me. And then once I started playing football, I was able to smack those kids around. So, I got my revenge on the football field. So screw them, screw their parents. Don't hit my kids so hard. Screw that. I'm laughing because I remember a parent. I think I was 14 years old and I squashed the kid. I was a fat, chubby kid too. I think I squashed him, and the parents were like, "Oh my God, how could they allow this kid to play in this league?" But kid was talking crap all through school. Kept calling me fat the whole nine, and he got squashed. I don't think he ever played football again. I think that hit was so hard, and all that body weight went on him. I think he cried, if I remember. That was my revenge, and the dice got their revenge. I was a 7. Oh, I hate that. We were doing so good. But yeah, those are some of the funny stories I could tell people when I'm playing at the table or, when I want to make conversations. All right, we'll continue. Hopefully we start throwing better. All right. That was a 9. Just the way I set the dice. That was a 9. I really don't want too much spinning on my dice in the air. I know there's videos of guys that when they throw the hard way set, you see the rotation of the dice in the air and they're in sync and it looks so pretty. Me, nah. It's about winning money. Soft tossing it, I think, is the best way to do it. I don't care about the spin. If you get spin, you just hope that because of the way you set the dice and soft tossed it, that the numbers will come out your way. So let's hope. Bro, that was the best toss I had. That was the best toss I had. I'm so excited. Look at this. Look at this. A hard 8. And they both went underneath the alligator skin. This is why we practice. I'm so excited, guys. I'm sorry for the excitement. I'm sorry that I blew out your ear on that one. I'm so excited. This is when practice pays off. This is when practice pays off. Wow. Hopefully, we could keep doing this all night or at the casino if we go. That was too hard. See, I get all excited, and then the next toss I fuck it up. But it was a 5. It was a 1. And we did hit a landmine. That was the whole purpose of me putting all these chips there, because you are going to hit landmines. And sometimes if you fall short of your toss, it'll hit one of these chips. That's what we call landmines. But it was a 5, so we'll count it. Wow, that other toss that made my practice session. That made my practice, because that's telling me we're doing the right things in our tossing. That means that it's going to pay off. I'm so excited, guys. So sorry that it came towards the end of the video too, but I'm so excited. That was a 5 yet again. I told you the 5s come out a lot in the 8s today. Doesn't mean it translates to the casino floor. It's just that I'm throwing on a hard felt. Oh, by the way, speaking of hard felts, have you ever seen the videos? I know Color Up has some. Those electronic tables, those are hard felts. I mean, those are just straight up glass, plastic or whatever it is. Then they got like speed bumps right here, but it's like hard. It's hard. So if you're on a hard felt and you run into an electronic table, man, go for it. Only thing I hate about the electronic table, not for me anyway, because I'm going to feel better, but they give you like, I think, 10 seconds to place your bet. It's like an electronical clock starts ticking. Once they pay everybody, it starts ticking like, oh, okay, you got to now get 10 seconds to pay or to place your next bet. And if you're a strategic bettor, you need more than that, But and they do show you how many rolls you get. Like every time you toss, the numbers shows up on an electronic screen. That's cool. But other than that, I don't like that they give you 10 seconds on it. But it is a hard felt. I say felt, but it's actually glass. It is, the table is an electronic table. If you ever run into those, if I ever run into those, I'm going to play it, because my felt is hard and that table is hard. I was a 6. So, right? I mean, can't go wrong. But let's see, let's continue the practice session. That was an easy 10. Okay. Hope the camera angle was to your benefit today. I like this camera angle. I think I fell in love with it to the point where I think I'm going to use it all the time, because I want to show you from this angle. Well, I can't show you from another angle. Let's be realistic. I got too much shit going on in my house, and it's personal. I don't want to be showing people where, my personal stuff. But I like this angle because it's showing the way it's coming in. That was too hard, but I got an easy 6 out of it. That was too hard, but I got an easy 6 out of it. Okay. Got the landmines going and everything. So I'm trying to soft toss it from 12 foot out, stick man right. And I'm trying to also get it over the landmines, which is so funny because ever since I put the landmines on, I've been trying, the chips, I've been trying to toss it and make sure it goes over the chips as well. So that's another way of practicing, because you will go through that at the casino. It's a 6 again. Nice. Easy 6. You want to get it underneath the alligator skin. That's the toughest thing to do. Any dice controller will tell you it is hard to do that. But if you could be consistent enough to get that landing spot, right? And hopefully you do well enough that your rolls, if you could get a couple of rolls like around here, like if it lands here, this is why I always say I want my landing spot here, because if you soft toss it and it lands softly or gently into here, I mean, that's hard to do. But if it rolls a couple of times, it'll go underneath the alligator skin. And that's what you want to do. All right. I love talking, so please bear with me. And I know that the video goes long, but you know what? If you're in the bathroom, you're taking a long dump, whatnot, man, woman, or you're just like practicing at home and you just want to put on a YouTube channel that takes up your time or whatever, put this on. Put this on. Or you're having trouble. Oh, we hit a landmine, but we got a 5 out of it. There's the 4 on top. Perfect. We hit a landmine. It does happen. There you go. 5. There you go. But yeah, if you're having trouble sleeping and you want to do this with no commercials, put this on. I think I'll put you to sleep with my talking. But yeah, man. So yeah, back in the day as a little kid, my speech was slurred. It was everything that came out my mouth was. I mean, it's still slurred. Everything that comes out my mouth is slow at times. It's like that Rocky slurred speech, right? Hey, Adrian, something like that, right? But that's okay. That was a Yo 11. It's been a while since I called the Yo 11. Okay. Nice. So cool to practice because this is going to be my last rolls, I think, of the day. All right. So we're going to do everything we can to get some good numbers. That's an easy 8. Okay. So, guys, if you like some of the stories I told you guys, if you like my content, if you like the way I'm tossing or whatnot, even if it's bad or good, leave a comment, hit that like and subscribe button so you guys could constantly see my practice sessions. And then one day we might run into each other and you'll be able to say, hey, I know that guy. That's Casino Pete. Let me talk to him. Let me hang out with the guy. Let me play craps with him. And the dreaded 7. All right, guys. I think I'm going to call it for now, right? That was the dreaded 7. All right, I'll leave this here. Okay, let me write down the 7, and then I'm going to tally this up. Okay. So hold on one second while I do this. Okay, guys, that's what my whiteboard looks like. Unfortunately, I had a lot of 7s today, but it's a practice session to show the soft tossing. I don't know how great that worked out for us, but that's where we're at. Let me tally it up. All right, guys, if you can see on the bottom, I tossed 15 7s, and then 70 were other numbers. There were 85 tosses all together. So, okay, I mean, I'm not going to call it the greatest session of all time because, again, the dreaded 7 is the number that comes out the most. But you can see that by soft tossing it, you were getting other numbers other than the 7. So I hope it helped you guys in this video. Hold on one second or I'll pause it again. All right, guys, I tallied it up. 85 tosses. We threw 15 7s. I marked it in red. You could check the whiteboard over if you rewind the video. Every other number, there was 70 of those. So, listen, it's a practice session, and we were trying to show that the soft toss might help us by hitting underneath that alligator skin. That's what we were trying for throughout the whole practice, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys could get something out of it, and that's one of them, right? To make sure you hit that back wall underneath the alligator skin, and like I said, create that optical illusion to that box man, right? Because you don't want him saying, "Oh, you got to hit that back wall, that alligator skin." Yeah, but if we get it to the point where that dice is rolling towards that back wall underneath that alligator skin, maybe the way you set the dice, your numbers will come out. So, yet again, another practice session, and I just wanted to show it to you guys. This is the way I practice, and if I'm going to practice, I might as well start posting up my practice sessions, and hopefully somebody out there you know, maybe picks up something from these practices and may want to try it their way. Maybe change the way they throw, maybe adopt something from this. I don't know. Like I said, I'm just as amateur as anybody else out there, practicing for 5 years, 3 years in a casino. I do very well in the casino, not to brag or nothing like that. But I don't play big, okay? I bet more to win big, right? I mean, I'm happy with 300, $400, $200. I'm good like that. I'm there to have fun, entertain myself, enjoy it. Um, I'm not a guy that's going to be at a casino and make all this type of noise and call out numbers. I don't want to get banned. Okay, I'm not going to be a millionaire at a casino or whatnot. I'm just there to have fun, and if I'm going to do that and I'm going to enjoy myself, and if I have something to show the public that maybe they could learn something from it, then I'm gonna post it up. So these are my practice sessions that I go through every day. So I'm glad you guys were able to watch at least some of it. Okay, I'm gonna continue to practice. I have a lot of time on myself. Like I said, I'm retired, so I'm gonna continue practicing, and hopefully, someone out there will, pick up on something. And if I did something bad, if I did something poorly, if I spoke out of character and said something that doesn't make sense in the world of craps, hit me up with the like and subscribe button and put it down in the commentary, and I'll get back to you with it. I'm learning, so I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that want to show me something. So I really appreciate it, and thank you very much for tuning in. Much appreciated. Thank you.